Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the show, I want to send my deepest condolences, thoughts, and prayers to all those affected in the Los Angeles, Southern California fires. Everybody kind of knows what's going on right now. Everybody over there is hurting, and we definitely understand. So, here at Three from Deep and Boom Broadcasting, we would like to send our thoughts and prayers with you guys. Please be safe, and we hope this ends soon so everybody can rebuild. So I wanted to thank you guys very much for watching, but please show your support in any way you can to those affected by these fires. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Boom Broadcasting presents Three from Deep. I'm your host, Jason Colenso. Welcome to the show. How we doing, everybody? Salute. Getting into mid-January here. It's been an interesting week. Not a lot going on. It's actually been very quiet. A little drama here and there. Zion Williamson getting suspended for a game. It's kind of he's been not showing up here as of late, and has some questions about his work ethic. And I think this suspension, because he was late to get on the plane, shows something that don't be surprised to see the Pelicans be moving on from Zion Williamson here fairly soon. But we're going to talk about the week that was. We're also going to get in a little bit of the standings here and kind of see where everybody's at. I'm going to talk a little bit about the MVP race. I'm going to give you guys my top 5 New York Knicks. Huge Knicks fan. And as I'm recording this now, I record this on Sundays, drop on Mondays, 12 p.m. on the Boom Broadcasting Network, the Knicks blow out the Milwaukee Bucks 140 to 106. Jalen Brunson drops 44. Towns drops 30 and 18. Giannis only had 24. So great win for my New York Knicks. We needed that to kind of bounce back. We had a little rough week last week, losing to Orlando and some other games that we just did not play well in. So it was nice to see us get kind of back on track against a hot Milwaukee Bucks team. So we'll talk about my 5 favorite New York Knicks, and then we're going to get into some of the games we got coming up, because we got some hot games coming up this week here. But let's start off with the week that was, guys. Again, not a lot going on, but great game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Oklahoma City Thunder. It was an instant classic. Cleveland, I don't know if anybody's taking them seriously. They started out hot, 15 wins in a row. And they are still the top of the East. They still have the best record in the NBA, and they are beating teams on the regular. That was a great game, beating OKC 129-122. Man, what to say about Cleveland, man? They are playing on all cylinders. Everybody from top to bottom on that team plays phenomenal. Shea only had 31 in that game. Jalen Williams had 25. OKC came in with a 15-game winning streak. That got halted. So right now, as of Sunday, Cleveland is on that 12-game streak, looking to make it 13. We'll see what happens tonight. But phenomenal. Jared Allen, 25 points. Mobley, 21. Donovan Mitchell only had 11 points, so didn't even need to have a phenomenal game from Donovan Mitchell to beat Oklahoma City. So it was great to see the number 1 team versus the number 1 team in the West, the number 1 in the East. Was awesome game. And then Cleveland turns around in a back-to-back. Mitchell sits out. Darius Garland drops 40. And they beat the Raptors 132-126. Again, that 12-game win streak. They are playing Sunday night. Again, I'm recording this tonight. They haven't played yet, so they're playing the Pacers. Pacers are tough out. And Cleveland has had some tough games, but they are on a roll right now. Will they make it 13? They're 33-4, best in the league. They're 6.5 games over the Celtics. So I'm asking you guys, do you really think that the Cleveland Cavaliers have the team to beat the Boston Celtics and some of the other teams in the East, the New York Knicks, the Milwaukee Bucks, Miami Heat? There's the East is, not as deep as the West, but it's still pretty tough to get through there. So, guys, do you think that Cleveland has everything they need to win the chip? That's a question. I think it's going to be tough. I don't know, 7-game series. I could see, the Celtics turning it on. I can see the Bucks turning it on. My New York Knicks. If we play well, play some defensive basketball, I can see us turning it on. So, but right now, nobody's holding a candle to what Cleveland's doing. So fantastic job there, Cleveland Cavaliers. And then we'll talk about it a little bit later, but it looks like OKC and Cleveland are going to have a round 2. Excuse me. Pardon me, guys. I'm still kind of trying to get over my little cough here, a little cold. Got a little bit of snow this week here in northern VA, so bear with me here. But let's jump into, excuse me, let's just jump into some of the standings here. Again, we talked about the East, Cleveland Cavaliers, 33-4, first place, 6.5 clear of the Boston Celtics, who are playing great basketball. Boston's playing really, really well. New York Knicks are playing good. Again, we just talked about, they just beat the Milwaukee Bucks here Sunday night. You also have that Bucks were 4th, Knicks 3rd. Magic still 5th. Paolo Banchero should be back soon, which would help them out. So phenomenal job in Orlando, by the way, losing to your top scorers with Wagner and Banchero, and still being able to hold down the 5th spot in the East. And then you got the Heat rounding it up 20-17 in the 6th place. Haven't heard much from the Heat. All that Jimmy Butler drama. Haven't heard much about it. Kind of fell a little flat. We was expecting maybe to see him on the move this week, or at least hear what teams are really, really vying for him. I know they've counted some teams out, but to just haven't heard anything, which is strange. Very, very strange. You when a player kind of makes this kind of stink and has that kind of with the 7-game suspension, that kind of outcome, usually they get them out of there pretty quickly. And Miami is just not doing it. They're playing their game. So remains to be seen what is going to happen there. I hope Jimmy Butler finds his love for playing basketball, and it'd be interesting to see where he goes and plays, or where he wants to go and play. Because, a lot of times these guys try to dictate where they want to go and where they want to play. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. But rounding out top 10, you got Pacers at 7, Pistons at number 8. And nobody's really talking about the Detroit Pistons. 20-19, Cade Cunningham, averaging 24 points a game, 6.6 rebounds, and 9.5 assists, having a great, great season. The Pistons have been the bottom of the barrel for a very long time. They are quietly having a really, really good season. If they can turn on the gas, maybe get a couple of pieces in a trade, I think they have a chance to make it up into the playoffs and really make some noise. Because everybody's sleeping on them. So interesting to see what's going to happen there in Detroit, but it's nice to see the Pistons back. I miss those Detroit Pistons, the bad boys back in the day with Dumars and Isaiah Thomas. We missed that stuff. That was old school, smash you in the face, and they literally smash people in the face basketball. So nice to see the Pistons playing well. Then you got the Hawks at 19-19 in 9th place, and the Bulls bringing up the rear in 10th, 18-20. I think it's going to be tough for Atlanta or Chicago to really start making some moves, but we'll see what happens. Atlanta's got Ice Trae, so he's playing really, really well, but the rest of the team is not, especially because the standings don't show it. But the East is going to be a little tough, but I want to see some teams make some moves. It's been too quiet here. Where are the trades? Where is the drama? We need something going on right now here. This last few days have been a little bit quiet here. Let's talk about the West. Of course, you still got the Thunder at 31-6. First place. Still a great team. I think they are going to go far in the West, but they have a lot of competition. Rockets second at 25-12. Grizz 25-14. Ja Morant doing some big things there in Memphis. I wish they can get him just a little extra help, man, maybe they can get a Jimmy Butler to throw in there to play with John Morant, because they are a fun team to watch. And I tell you what, John Morant is a hell of a talent, man. Then you got the Nuggets in fourth at 22-15. Somebody go get Joker some help. That's another one. Maybe Jimmy goes play with Joker. Joker is having an MVP season. He is everything to that team right now. He's not getting a lot of help. He's really doing everything by himself. I know Westbrook is there, but he's not the Westbrook that we used to know. But Nuggets fourth, Mavericks fifth, missing Luka. Then you got the Lakers sixth, kind of falling off a little bit. Some smack talking about the Lakers not really playing very well, which they haven't. They've been a little lackluster right now. Look, LeBron James, the dunk he had earlier this week, good gravy. That guy at 40 years old, to be able to do that is phenomenal. Hell, I can't even get out of bed in the morning without my bones creaking. So it is a testament to how LeBron James takes care of himself. So he is phenomenal, but he needs some help. They got a lot of help on that team right now. Anthony Davis, where are you at? The rest of that squad there. So it'd be interesting to see what goes on there in La La Land. And again, thoughts and prayers go out to everybody in LA that's going on out there, man. It is very, very hard to watch. So hopefully, if you guys are watching, this gives you a little entertainment to try to mask really what's going on out there. So then you also have the LA Clippers at 20-17. Kind of just hanging around at seventh. T-Wolves at 8. Really been underplaying the T-Wolves, man. Anthony Edwards, he is a phenomenal player. He's been playing really, really well, but it's not got a lot of help on that team. That Karl Anthony Towns trade where he left, I think really, really hurt that team. Julius Randle is not the answer. I think they need to move on from him. They're struggling. 8th in the West. Kings 9th. Just fired their coach, their 500 ball club. Fox is a great talent. What do the Kings do? Do they build around him, or do they trade him and start the rebuild process over again? And then slip into 10th. Good gravy, the Warriors. What is going on with the Golden State Warriors? The Warriors' woes. They are a 500 ball club. They are just not playing very well. Steve Kerr, I don't know what you got going on there in Golden State right now, but we are wasting the few years that Steph Curry has left with trash around him right now, and that team is trash. So Golden State, I'd like to see you do some moves, start trading some guys, do something here, get Steph Curry some help, because the NBA and the playoffs need Steph Curry in it. And I know that's something that the NBA wants to see. They want to see Curry cooking in the playoffs. And right now, I don't think you're going to see that at all, the way that they're playing. They keep on slipping. Another one that's just been very disappointing this year is the Phoenix Suns. You got Kevin Durant, who's supposed to be the greatest shooter this side of, or greatest scorer, this side of the 2000s. He is a phenomenal scorer. He can get you 30 points every night, but, with Bradley Beal not performing, they are just a terrible team right now. They're under game under 500. They're down there with the Spurs. The Spurs are 12th. They're 11th. Phoenix, you got to do something. Trade Bradley Beal. Trade Kevin Durant. I mean, I think you can get a hella haul. Put Kevin Durant back in Golden State. Get rid of Bradley Beal, send him to Miami. You guys get Jimmy Butler, a whole boatload of picks, and everybody's happy. Let's do something, guys. Come on, man. I want to see some teams make some crazy moves here. We got to get this going on here, but very disappointed in the way the Warriors are playing. I don't know. I think those Warriors dynasty days are way long gone right now. That does not look very good. The young guns with the Thunder, the Rockets, the Grizz, the Nugs, the Mavericks, those young guys have got their teams rolling. So, Steph, I'm sorry, man. It looks like you're going to be fading away here pretty soon here on the Warriors. That's it for the standings right now, guys. Would be interesting to see. We're going to start getting in here in the next couple of months. Gets to be kind of those dog days of the NBA. So curious to see what teams continue to bubble up and what teams continue to fall back. And are those teams that are falling back, do they start unloading a lot of players this week? So that remains to be seen. But let's get into the MVP race. We got some guys. For me, Jalen Brunson. You talk about for the New York Knicks. Jalen, you're my MVP. As far as MVP of the league right now, I think Giannis has it by a little bit of a margin. He's averaging 31.7 points per game, which is first in the league. He's fifth in rebounds. We're at 11.9. So playing great basketball. The Bucks were written off this year. Started off slow. Fire Doc Rivers. Trade Giannis. Blow it up. Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria. Look what the Bucks are doing now. Bucks are playing good basketball. Fourth in the East. So Giannis, big part of the reason why they are playing so well. He's playing at the top of his form. So great job there, Giannis. But you got competition, Giannis. Excuse me. Nikola Jokic. He's second by a slim margin his points per game. He's at 31.6. So he's right behind Giannis. He's first in 3-point percentage at 47.7. A big man, the dad bod god. First in 3-point percentage. That's ridiculous. He's third in averaging rebounds, 13 rebounds a game, and he's averaging 9.9 assists. He's second, averaging 9.9 assists in the league. So he is on the verge, excuse me, of averaging a triple-double. Guys, that's that for the type of player he is, a big man, to put on these kind of numbers, to do what he's doing. He's literally carrying his team right now because no one else really on that team is really stepping up. Again, Westbrook's doing okay, but I don't see anybody else really on that team that's doing what he's doing. But he is putting up some phenomenal record-breaking numbers this year, and he has a chance to average a triple-double. Big man, that's crazy. So you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 31.5 points per game. OKC first in the West. So his, I got my crack MVP watch. I want to know, guys, who do you have as your MVP? Who is your leaders? So again, you got Giannis, Joker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You got to throw Jason Tatum in there for the second place Boston Celtics. He's averaging 27.8 per game. I think he's awesome on that team. I still think Brown is probably one of the most important guys for that Boston Celtics team. But that's just my opinion. So MVP race is heating up, guys. Again, comment, like, subscribe. Let me hear what you think. I want to know who you think is your MVP. Am I missing somebody? Luka getting hurt. That doesn't help his MVP status. Some of the other guys that you would think, I would throw Ja Morant in there a little bit. Maybe, he's got the Grizz playing on a high level. So maybe you can throw him in there, sprinkle him in there a little bit. So I want to hear who your MVP is right now. So let's get that going. And I'm going to have a quick sip of coffee because, again, I can't get my throat right. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you listening to me. We're going to take a time out here. We're going to talk about my top 5 New York Knicks of all time. I'm a huge New York Knicks fan. I got some Knicks stuff hanging on the wall. I got my Carmelo Anthony little display sitting beside me here. Grew up a Knicks fan. Was a Knicks fan throughout the 80s and 90s. The heyday. We had some rough years. We had some lean years. But with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, Hart, we got some excitement back in New York City. And that, when the Garden is rocking, I tell you what, there's no place better in the NBA to watch a game, whether it's live, whether it's on TV. When Madison Square Garden has the stars in the stands, there's no better arena in the NBA. I challenge anywhere else to be as electric as the Garden. Top 5 of all time. And it's tough. There's a lot of great New York Knicks. You go all the way back. But number 5 is Willis Reed. And this was tough because Walt Clyde Frazier's there. We got some Dave DeBusschers there. We got some guys. We got some history there. Anthony Mason. Got some good guys there, man. Larry Johnson, Grandmama. I was a big fan of his. But Willis Reed. Game 7 in the 1970 finals, when Willis Reed limped out of the tunnel onto the court, propelled the New York Knicks to winning a championship that year. Now, every time a player limps out on the court, limps out on the field, comes out of the tunnel, gets hurt, goes back in, Paul Pierce with the wheelchair, and then all of a sudden he's, miraculously cured, comes out. Everybody talks about the Willis Reed moment. So he is probably one of my favorite. He's an all-time New York Knick, Hall of Famer, Rookie of the Year in 64, 65, 69, 70 MVP, 7-time All-Star. I can go on and on and on with his stats, but he is one of those guys that is going to live on forever, because now with that one moment in time, in 1970 in that championship game 7, anytime someone does something like that, they mention his name, which is phenomenal. So number 5, Willis Reed. Number 4, Earl the Pearl Monroe. One of my favorite nicknames of all time, the Pearl. He's on that 73 championship, 2-time All-Star, 9 years with the New York Knicks. Beautiful with the basketball. Severely underrated. I don't think he's mentioned enough within the greats of the game. But Earl the Pearl Monroe, salute. You're one of my favorites. I got an autograph of you hanging on my wall over here. Same thing with Willis Reed. I got Willis Reed over here too. Number 3, my man back here, Carmelo Anthony. I'm a huge Syracuse Orange fan too. So when he won the national championship 03, I was stoked, to say the least. And then, of course, followed him through Denver. And then when he came to the New York Knicks, as a Knicks fan, as a Syracuse fan, it was a match made in heaven. I just wish he could have got over the hump and got a chip with the Knicks. But still a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. You can't say enough about him. He's still one of my all-time favorite players. I still rock his jerseys to this day. Carmelo, I love you, man. Great job as a New York Knick. I definitely miss watching you on the court. Can't believe you're retired already. Just shows you how old I'm getting. These gray hairs in my beard here. But Carmelo Anthony, my 3rd favorite Knick, which is tough because there must be some good guys, because Carmelo is one of my favorite players of all time. But my 2nd favorite Knick, Charles Oakley. You talk about a guy you want to go to war with. And Charles Oakley, if he had your back, man, he had your back. He can score. He can defend. Great defender of the basket. But his energy, his tenacity, his anger, he would stuff the ball down your throat and then want to fight you. I mean, Charles Oakley was one of my favorite guys to watch. They did him dirty here later in life here when Dolan had him thrown out of the Garden, which was a shame. But Oakley, you're one of my favorite players of all time. Number 2 on my list. I loved watching you. Those classic Chicago Bulls games between the Knicks and the Bulls. Just, Oakley, just scruffing it up down there near the basket. Just a lot of fun to watch. I definitely do miss that type of basketball. But Charles Oakley, my 2nd favorite New York Knick. And my number 1 favorite New York Knick is Patrick Ewing. Another guy. Wish he could have got that chip. Got so close. Michael Jordan knocked you out a bunch of different times. And then Akeem the Dream Olajuwon, he took you down a couple of times when Jordan was out. We actually had our shot, but we missed it. Of course, Patrick Ewing, known for a little bit of controversy, or if you want to call it, the first NBA lottery draft that the ball just happened to bounce the Knicks' way, where they were able to draft Patrick Ewing. So the conspiracy theorists are out there. They still think that draft lotto was rigged and that the NBA wanted the New York Knicks to have Patrick Ewing, a.k.a. Mr. Georgetown. He was so much fun to watch. When we actually had centers that played down low, Patrick Ewing didn't go out and try to shoot three-pointers like Wembanyama. He doesn't do some things like Joker and Anthony Davis do. These guys are athletic, which is phenomenal, but Patrick Ewing playing down low in a very physical game back in the day in the 80s and 90s. I miss watching him. I miss that kind of basketball. But Patrick Ewing, my number one New York Knick. I have an autograph of him hanging on the wall too. So he was phenomenal to watch, Hall of Famer. I wish he could have got that chip. But Patrick Ewing, thank you very much for being a New York Knick, and you will always be a New York Knick. So that's my top 5 New York Knick guys. If you have your top 5, like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Rep your squad. I want to know who your top 5 is. What's your favorite squad and who are your top 5 guys? There's a lot of good NBA players out there. So let's talk about this week that's coming up. Where the trade's at. Let's go. We need these teams to start doing some moves here. So I'm hoping to see some drama and a little bit of excitement this week here and see some guys on the move. So Monday games, we got the Knicks and Pistons. Watch out for those Pistons, man. They're playing Cade Cunningham. He was a top draft pick, finally paying dividends. Playing really, really well. Then you got the Grizz and the Rockets. That's going to be an awesome matchup. Number 2 versus number 3 in the NBA right now. So John Morant playing really, really good basketball. So, and then you got Heat Clippers and Spurs Lakers. And Tuesday, Cavs Pacers again. Rerun from Sunday night. And then Mavs Nuggets. Can Joker continue his MVP run? It's going to be a good game on Tuesday. Wednesday night, you got some Magic Bucks, top of the East playing with each other there. And then the Rockets Nuggets. Those young Rockets playing really, really well. Thursday night, the only game you got to worry about right now is Cavs Thunder running it back. That is going to be another instant classic. I know OKC wants to get payback, and I know Cleveland wants to just keep rolling through people. So Thursday night, guys, if you can't watch any other games this week, check that game out on Thursday night. Record it, DVR it, whatever you got to do. Stream it. That's going to be a hell of a game. Friday night, got Magic Celtics. T-Wolves against the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns playing against his former team again. So Knicks, again, fantastic win against the Milwaukee Bucks here Sunday. And then Thunder Mavs. And then Saturday, get the Cavs, T-Wolves. Cavs, I want to see how many wins in a row they have by the time they get to Saturday. So we have a lot of exciting games this week, excuse me. Basketball is in full swing, guys. We're just waiting to see where some of these teams start unloading players. I know everybody's excited for it, so I know I am too. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate you watching. This has been Jason Colenso, 3 from Deep, Mondays, 12 p.m. We are also on demand. Excuse me, can't talk right now. Losing my voice a little bit. So on demand on Boom Broadcasting, you can check us out at any time. But like and subscribe. We really appreciate you guys, and we appreciate all the love and support. So thank you all very much. We'll see you next week, and I'm hoping here pretty soon we may have 3 from Deep 3 times a week here now that the NBA is heating up. So stay tuned for that. I'm waiting for an announcement from the Prez. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for your support, and peace. We'll see you next week.